So I had a friend who said for her self-care, getting her nails done and toes done is not self-care. She had to know herself to know that, because people will pitch self-care like it's 7-day trips to Bali and
Mm-hmm.
pedicures and all these things. But if those things send me into a financial crisis, that's not self-care. If those things stress me out, that's not self-care, right? But you have to know yourself. And it goes back to what you said, the lady said, you have to define soft life. You got to define what alignment is for you. That means silencing the voices of past, present, and future. All the things you've heard, all the things you've seen other people do. What do you want to do?
Welcome to Impostrix Podcast Season 4. My name is Whitney and I am your host. Thanks for joining us for this episode. I am excited to jump into it. Impostrix Podcast validates professionals of color navigating imposter experiences and racial toxicity within their careers. And this season, we are focusing exclusively on pouring into Black women. How can we take care of the Black women in our lives? If we are a Black woman, how can we pour into ourselves? How can we receive the pour from others? So this episode is going to be about that and all the episodes within this season. So sit back, get your listening ears on. Let's get into it. Impostrix Podcast, Season 4, also known as my favorite season, because we are pouring into Black women over here. And today we're continuing to do that with our guest, Katesha Reed, who is a licensed professional counselor dedicated to helping women reconnect with their true selves beyond life's roles. She has over a decade of experience empowering women to rediscover their identity, reignite their passions, and prioritize self-care, which is, the theme, right? She is the theme of the season. Known for her empathetic approach, Katesha addresses burnout and identity loss. Yep, we need that. She is the author of the best-selling book Beyond Someone's Something, which challenges the superwoman syndrome and encourages women to redefine success on their own terms. I am your host, Whitney. I did not say that, so I'm saying it now. And I'm so glad to have you on the show, Katesha. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have our pre-conversation talk, and then
Hmm.
we, in preparation for the conversation, I always go back over the materials that my guests have sent me. I go back over their websites, and every time I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly why I have her on the show, because she talking about all the things that I'm trying to be talking about. So, I appreciate that you're perfect for this show.
Thank
Um,
you, Todd.
yeah. So tell us about your identities. What are the perspectives that you're bringing to this conversation?
Okay, so I am a mother of three kids spread out, 16, 9, and 3. I am a wife of, it'll be
Wait,
20
wait.
years,
16, 9,
9, and
and 3.
3.
Did y'all
I
hear
always
that?
tell people
Because
I'm teaching one to drive and one to potty at the same time.
oh, okay. I just felt like we needed like a moment of silence for that or something.
I
But okay,
definitely
continue.
tell people when I tell you these ages, I need y'all to add me to your prayer list. So, yes, the
Yes.
moment of silence, yes. So, that perspective, I will have been married 20 years this year. Of course, I'm a therapist, and I like to feel like that in addition to my experience, I'm bringing the experience and the voices of all the women I serve.
Mm. So, and you black.
Yes,
Okay.
every day in every way.
I had a um a survey for I collect the identities of the people that I serve in my estate planning practice in my with my wills and
Okay.
trusts, and I ask like their racial identity. And today I was looking at somebody's survey and she said black and proud. I said yes, black
Yes,
and
yes,
proud.
ma'am.
So today we're going to talk about identity and like shedding of our labels. And I
Yes.
want to just jump right in with the fact that you are a mother and your like I'm going to call it active momness
Yeah.
is going to extend forever. Right? Like
Ever.
I mean, of course all of
Yeah.
us are moms forever, but like you will be raising children for a very long time.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
and Of course, not everybody listening to the show is a parent or guardian or caretaker. Some of them are aunties, some of them don't have young children in our lives. So if you're one of those listeners and you cannot relate to caring and raising someone for that long of time, just think about another commitment that you have when you're listening to
Yeah.
this relate or to this conversation, like maybe your commitment to your work and your career or profession. But the reason I want to talk about this and identity is because as a mother myself, now I've only been a mother for 7 years,
Oh,
and I cannot think of a hobby that I have that
wow.
I actually like do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I can think of things that I used to love to do, play soccer, for example. Um, I can think of things that when I finally do them, enjoy doing, playing board games. I
Okay.
cannot think of a hobby. And that I have gone through different periods of grieving,
Mm-hmm.
loss of identity.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
can acknowledge that about myself, but I still don't have a hobby.
Did
So
you have a
I'm,
hobby? Do you think you had a hobby before you had children?
did I have a hobby before I had children? So before I had children, I was new in my career. And my focus at that point was my career.
Mm-hmm.
Did I play soccer? I don't think I was playing pickup soccer because there wasn't pickup soccer where I was living. So, I mean, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I mean,
Yeah.
so let's pause a minute and just get real. You do everything for everybody. But have you taken a moment to care for future you? Getting your affairs in order isn't just about wills or trusts, it's about peace of mind for you and love for those that you leave behind. Ideally, we should all have an estate plan. And if you're in Georgia, Wills for the People can help you out. But if you're not ready yet to create your will or trust, there's something that you can do that will go a long way in helping the future you. And that is to get organized. The I Plan for This Life Organizer for when it's needed is a workbook designed to help you organize your life with clarity and ease, making it so that if someone needs to care for you or for your affairs because you're not able to, they have all of the information that they need. No stress, no confusion, just a record made by you, about you. Visit willsforthepeoplega.com to get your copy, because you deserve to be prepared and to have your loved ones prepared. Again, that's willsforthepeoplega.com and click on the workbook tab. Back to the show.
Yeah.
So, what I want to know from you though is, how are you, like, what is your journey with your identity as being more than these three children's mother
Yes.
and your spouse's spouse?
Yeah. And I think it's similar because I had my first child. I was 20. I don't know. She's 16. I can't do math that fast. But I was like you. I was focused on my career, and my career was important to me. Right. And so I remember one day thinking, people said that this being a mother and being a wife should fulfill me, but I don't know. But I whispered it though, because you don't say stuff like that out loud
Right.
because, people say, well, you should be grateful and this and this and that. And I get it, but that wasn't helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, that was not helping me. I did love being a mom. I did love being a wife. But when you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't know me. But I ask you and I ask other people, did you have a hobby before? Because we always think, well, I'll just go back to who I was then. But for a lot of us, we didn't really know who we were before then, right?
Mm.
So, like, I met my husband at 19. I didn't fully know who I was then, so I can't go back. I have to develop who I am now. And so
Mm.
you have to be very intentional when you're doing that, that your hobbies don't become things you do consistently. Because I can do things consistently with my kids. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that's my hobby. I can watch
Mm.
a show with my kids and enjoy it. That doesn't mean that's my favorite show,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to be really intentional. And so my journey was, I realized that that wasn't completely fulfilling to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a breakdown. I tell people I was a therapist by day and crazy as hell at night. Like just unsure because nobody was talking about it. So who wants to be the only person that is quote unquote broken? And then so after I had my breakdown and I started talking to women, they were like, "Oh yeah, I feel that way." And I was like, "So why y'all not saying nothing?" Like nobody, I ain't seen nobody talking about it. And so I said from that day forward, there would never be another mother that I knew of and that knew of me that would have to walk that journey alone. I needed to be a safe space for people to say, you know what? Don't ask me how my kids doing. How am I doing? Don't ask me how my husband doing. How am I doing?
Yes.
Because if I'm not okay, they're not okay. And it's not the happy wife, happy life. It is, if I can't show up for me, I can't show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a true sense. And if I'm only doing things for you, am I truly living? You know, people say I'm doing this for my kids. And again, I get the sentiments, but we have to really think about what we're saying. Yeah, I do this for my kids, but that's again telling me subconsciously, you come last. And girl, I didn't want to come last no more. I didn't want to come last. It didn't feel good.
So, what is a hobby to you then? Because I am thinking about consistency. I feel like, yeah, I do things that are fun, but I don't regularly do fun things for myself, with myself, by myself.
Yeah,
Not
that's
that a
probably
hobby has to be by
that's
yourself, by
probably
the
your
way.
hobby though. Because like I like reading. I can't tell you the last time I have read a non-business or non-professional book,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I do enjoy reading. Um, I'm also in the process of learning new hobbies. I like traveling.
Mm.
And traveling to me as a mom, and people may not like this, but I believe there's 97% of people who's gonna be like, yep, that traveling with kids is not the same as traveling alone.
Look, it's the
Because I
worst.
enjoy exposing my kids to things, right? But the reality is, being on the beach with them kids ain't the same as being on the beach by myself.
Right.
It's
There are
not the
beautiful
same.
moments. There are
Yeah.
beautiful moments, but
Yes.
I am a lover of leaving the kids,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I'm with you on that. But I
Yeah.
guess I mean when you say it like that, let me re-answer then the question about hobbies, because I like music.
Okay.
I don't listen a lot, and I
Okay.
also don't listen to the words. What I like is the rhythm. I like how it
Mm,
makes me feel.
yeah. Yeah.
And I love when my friends send me playlists,
Yes.
because I don't seek out new music. I will
Right.
listen to the same thing. I got a 2014 playlist that I listen to on repeat.
That's me.
Um, so I
That's
love when
me.
people send me new stuff that I get to listen to, and I get to get inside their heads
Right.
around why this song appealed to them, or this beat, or these lyrics, or whatever. Um, I love food, and
Yeah.
I love to eat good food. I used to
Yes.
love to cook. Cooking used to be a hobby. Cooking ain't a hobby no more. I don't
No.
want to ever have to cook, but I do enjoy great food.
Yeah.
Um, what else? It's a good question, because I just I don't have enough. I don't feel like I have enough
Yeah.
play. Like, I want to
Mm.
play more. I want
Yeah.
there to be
Yeah.
fun, light things. Like, I really want to get into what's that when you're acting but you're acting without a script?
Oh, you want to do improv?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes.
That'd
Every
be
time
cool.
I've like pseudo done it, I just find it to be the funniest thing.
I think that would be neat. And hobbies don't have to be like for me. Mine would be traveling. Mine would be reading. But I also enjoy being in community, like
Yes.
just being with other women. And we don't even have to have an itinerary. We're just there, just being. And so I think as we grow, our hobbies change. But the biggest thing is we are open to new hobbies. We are open to making that time for us, to even exploring what we like and what we don't like.
Mm, yeah. I recently had an opportunity to be around activists who are also
Okay.
parents.
Oh wow.
And activism for me was a big part of my identity in my teenage, high school and college
Hmm.
and law school life.
Yep.
And as my life has progressed, it's progressed through these very lethal moments in time where activism is not safe.
Yeah.
And so when I had kids, I stopped
Right.
my
Right.
activism in that way. My activism became my career. Like I professionally was a civil rights attorney. I, did a variety of things professionally that were quote safe, and that were not, on the ground with my
Right.
siblings
Right.
because I was afraid
Yeah, I
of
think that's
not coming
understandable.
home.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's been, 7 years. And I, for the first time last weekend, was in a community that was made for parents who were activists to
Yep.
bring their children to be in community with each other. And I was able to relate to other parents who were like, I haven't been to a protest since I had these kids either.
Hmm.
And that felt so good because it
Yeah.
was like an acknowledgement of, again, the grieving of part of an identity.
Yes.
um but
Yes.
the validation of, I stand by that decision. And
Right.
I'm not even,
Right.
just because I found them, I'm still not going, you know
Right. Right.
like, I'm going to support you guys. I will bring you your materials. I will help fund it. I will do the potlucks. I
Yeah.
am in your corner, but I can't be the one marching because that is not, I'm not willing to take on that sacrifice right now. Um,
And that's not who you are anymore. So I love that you still have the hobby. It still feeds that part of you, and it's shifted, because identifying ourselves outside of our label doesn't mean, because we do have a responsibility. We understand that certain things don't have to be said. We have a responsibility to our children, right? So sometimes things have to be tweaked. They don't always have to be sacrificed. So you were able to reconnect with something that feeds you, something you enjoy, in a way that makes you feel safe.
yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about the strong woman label and maybe some other
Mm,
labels outside of motherhood. And I know as Black women, we are often talking about specifically the strong Black women
yes.
um,
Yes.
identity that so many of us feel stuck in. And we can talk
Yeah.
about that today too. I know there are non Black listeners, though, who similarly feel like there is no space to be vulnerable or soft because we
Right.
are holding up so much, we feel like.
That's true.
So can you talk about those labels and how
Yeah.
you have been able to work with people and you yourself have been able
Mhm.
to start shedding some of that?
Yeah, and I think for the first step is the acknowledgement that that label, that particular strong Black woman label, is killing us. It is killing us because it is something we hold internally and something people expect externally. So I always say it's suffocating us from the inside and the out. And I encourage people, and what I did was I thought about my grandmother, right? Love my grandmother, but there were certain things I never saw her experience or never saw her do that wasn't okay for that to be my story, right? And I mean simple things like I never saw my grandmother cook anything less than a meal that took hours. Girl, that can't be my life. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. No, 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 no. Don't want to do that. I never saw my grandmother like sit and rest. If she was sitting, she was watching the news, which is not resting for her mentally, or she was entertaining someone.
Mm.
Someone may have stopped by, or, but not like just relaxing. And so it made me think about, we say our grandmothers were strong, and we honor that. We honor that strength of our grandmothers and the people before them, but they had to be. It was dangerous not to be.
Mm.
That is no longer our entire story. I'm not going to say it's no longer our story, because who knows what's going on in this world sometimes. But it is
Mm-hmm.
no longer our entire story, right? When I see people on Facebook and they say, I'm overwhelmed or I'm stressed out, and in the comments, people say, oh, just push through. That boils my blood, because they are literally crying for help, community, something. And people are saying, just keep pushing. By the time I come on social media and say this, I have nothing left to give. And so then I use the analogy of, when you are pouring from an empty cup, trying to get that last little drop, it's like slamming a ketchup bottle on the table. But a cup is more fragile, and so it's going to break. You're going to break. And if you don't take care of yourself and take that cape off, even Superman takes his cape off. That is not his sole identity. There's a time and a place for that, but he lives a life as Clark Kent.
I have three directions that I want to go, and I'm gonna do all of them because I am Superwoman, right?
Yes.
So, one, it's reminding me of two conversations that I've had on this show. One this season with Rashida, your dream strategist, around, can Black women have a soft life?
Mm,
And I'm thinking about it because I went into that conversation being like, no, like we absolutely cannot.
yeah.
That is not a luxury that we have. Nobody's
Yes.
going to treat us like we can just, I don't know, be cush and comfortable and,
Yeah.
chilling. Like, you know, and she helped me redefine soft life, like for what soft life meant for me. And hearing you
Right.
talk about something like not having seen your grandmother ever make just a simple meal
Right.
that didn't take hours.
Right.
It's bringing me back to, and my mom listens to this. She was amazing, is amazing. But like when I
Mhm.
was growing up,
Right. Right.
she did all the things that, many of us parents do. We're driving our kids everywhere
Yes.
after work, after school.
Yes.
She had after work things because of her job. So she's going to work, getting there at 9, late. She's getting there late because she's a late person. But work ends at 5, but then she got like a city council meeting that she has to go
Mhm.
to from
Mhm.
6 to 7, and then she's racing from there to go take us to wherever we need to go, and then she's coming
Yeah.
home, and she may be making hamburger helper, but she's
Right.
making something.
Right.
And like I there are days where I don't sit down until like 8, like where I don't have a chance to sit down and kick my feet up, and I am trying to make those days less and less. But it reminds me that this is what I saw my mother doing.
Mm.
This is as much, it's like a pride thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And so soft life for me means not doing that. It
Yeah.
means maybe asking my husband to help, or it means
Right.
taking things off of my plate. Whether that means, like right now, I'm working on scheduling more space in my schedules. Not doing stuff back to back to back to back to back.
Right.
Like for me,
Yep.
that's soft life. Having the
Yes.
luxury of having lunch.
Yes.
That is one priority that I've
Yes.
made. Like
Yes.
in the last 3 weeks is I am having a lunch break, and it's not going to be in front of my computer.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And we
so
have to
I
start with those things. And I
right.
love that you said taking stuff off your plate, because I think a lot of us aren't carrying plates. We're carrying serving platters. The
Mm,
thing the servers have, they have multiple plates on there. So we need
mm-hmm,
to take whole plates off. So even
mm-hmm.
if it is, and it may feel so small to somebody, but there's a lot of people that don't take a lunch away from their desk.
puh, puh. Like I can't even. I should be ashamed. Um, but it's I also friends again that are not parents who I see they work an hour away from where they live. They're
Mm-hmm.
driving to work, they working all day, they driving home, they're caring for a parent, they're
Yes. Yes.
translating materials for their parents who don't speak
Yep.
English or
Yes.
filing their taxes. God forbid it be tax season for a first generation to immigrant parents, female
Mm.
child.
Yep.
Like I am, we are all, it's not just about parenting, but so
No.
many of us our lives are so full with whatever it's going to be, which is a
Full
great
and
thing.
obligated to other people.
Right. And as women, we are socialized to cater to other people.
Yes. Yes.
And so when you were talking, that idea of a soft life for Black women came up, and just this reminder to reframe that I'm not talking, when I talk about soft life for me, I'm not talking about living in the Bahamas and never working and
Right.
chilling, sipping on something. Like,
Right.
I'm talking about the simple sit down before 8
Yeah.
p.m.
Yes. Make sure you drink
Like,
water throughout the day. Make sure you
drink
eat.
water.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
Yes.
go on a walk. Now we have a dog, so I'm able to go on a walk during my
Yep.
lunch break.
Yep.
Um, that type of thing. The second thing your comments reminded me of is a conversation that I had season 2 with Dr. Kanika. And she talked about Black women don't owe you anything.
Mm.
And she is a emergency room doctor. And
Wow.
within that conversation, we talked about the weathering that Black women are experiencing. I've had countless conversations on this show with people who have autoimmune diseases and are needing to really care for themselves because the more they hold, the sicker they get.
Yes.
Um, and it reminded me of that conversation with Dr. Kanika because we were talking about um, letting go of being so strong at
Yes.
times and just letting it go, recognizing that this is literally going to kill us.
Yes. It
There
is
is
definitely
not,
going
it's
to.
not I had a bad day and I need to, go to sleep. It's I'm getting ill. My
Mm-hmm.
body is failing.
Yep.
I am dropping dead.
Yes.
I am having
Yes.
heart attacks or strokes or whatever the case may be. And so, yes, our health
Yeah.
depends on us releasing and shedding this particular label
We
of
have to.
being strong Black women.
And it impacts our mental health as well because
Mm,
the amount of women who come to me and say, and even the label people are we're angry Black women or we're this, a lot of us are really overstimulated. A
mm,
lot of us are dealing with anxiety and that makes us irritable. And it's because we've put so much on our plate, or people have so much on our plate. And so we're at a point where we are at capacity. We're at capacity because we have been, like you said, taught subconsciously, because no one has ever sat down and said these. It's what we've seen, it's what we've heard, it's what we've believed to be true. And then we then are piling all this stuff on us to the point we're having, like you said, panic attacks. We're having anxiety. We're having, you know, an increase in postpartum because we're in a hurry to get back to the hustle and bustle. We're in a hurry to get back to taking care of other people, and it feels uncomfortable to let someone take care of us. It feels uncomfortable to say no. It feels uncomfortable to have a boundary around that and not
mm,
be everything for everybody, but that leaves us being nothing for ourselves.
mm. Yeah. I don't remember what my third point was, but one thing that I keep thinking about, going back to our conversation about hobbies and what do we enjoy, is recently I've started like my family, they're TV watchers. My sons and my husband, they're TV watchers.
Mhm.
I am somebody that just watches whatever you're watching. But recently, I've been like, I'm gonna find something that I want to watch, and all
Yes,
y'all
find your
jokers are gonna
show.
sit here and watch it too. And my little boys be like, "Mommy, mommy, let's watch something that the whole family likes," because that's usually what I say. And I'm like, "Nope, we watching something that mommy likes today. I don't know what y'all gonna do, but on this TV right here, we watching Project Runway reruns.
Yes,
We
yes,
watching the Great British Bake Off or whatever it's called.
yes,
I
yes.
like to watch Ink Masters.
Oh, I like
I
that
do
too.
like Abbott Elementary. They love Abbott Elementary, so they're happy when I want to watch that. But I'm watching all, like, y'all can sit through it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
that
that's
brings me
teaching.
joy. I've
That is teaching them.
I really love when I find myself putting myself first
Yes.
because it's still so new
It's like a
in
love
this
letter to
way.
yourself.
hmm It's like the ultimate, it's almost like getting giddy when doing the self care the wrong way. Self
Hmm.
care that's like, it's my time to get a massage and I'm so excited and this is the only thing that I'm doing for myself in the past 6 months and woo, I'm having
Yeah.
a self care day. I get like many versions of that every time that I'm like, we watching what I want to watch,
I
or
know that's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. I'm not sure what you're eating for dinner.
Right.
Or I'm having space. I had a client who couldn't make their appointment today, wanted to reschedule for Monday, which is a holiday. And it took me all day to tell her no.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was so happy with
Yeah.
myself for not scheduling work on this holiday.
It's the
So,
small things that matter a lot.
mm-hmm,
Like, and I tell people, it's not that I have arrived. It's still a work in progress because this is an intentional daily thing. I'm like you. I had a client who didn't complete the paperwork, and I was like, "It's an hour before your session. You're supposed to do a day before." I would usually just say, "Come on," but what does that leave me? That leaves me anxious. That leaves me unprepared. That leaves me all these things, and you don't know it because you leave with your cup filled. Because I'm not showing up any less, but that's not fair to me. So yeah, I could see you on Monday. It's a holiday. I could, but I'd probably be resenting it the entire time. And then you'd want to see me every holiday because in your
right
mind,
now there are no boundaries.
yeah, you saw me last time on a holiday. Yeah, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah. So my experience with like suddenly realizing a lot of times when I'm realizing that I am operating within an identity or characteristic or label that just doesn't feel like me, it's like sudden. It's like I'm walking along, all of a sudden I'm hitting the head with a baseball bat and I come to my senses and realize I don't know what the heck I've been doing, but I don't even like that. I don't like that
Mm,
person. I don't like those clothes. I don't like
yeah.
how they feel. I don't, and sometimes I struggle kind of navigating the transition of this realization that like
Hmm.
I need to move differently because differently feels more aligned with who I am,
Yep.
especially when there are other people around me who are depending on who I that label that I'm trying to shed.
Right.
Um
Right.
so what are your thoughts on how we can move through that? Because obviously, or maybe it's not obvious. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be doing like maybe I shouldn't care about these other people, but like I care about these other people right now, right? Like so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
care if I am suddenly doing things differently and it's impacting how the people that I love around me are able to do things, or how my clients are or are not able to depend on me during certain, like I feel like I need to give some kind of grace period of like, okay,
Okay.
you can keep treating depending on the old Whitney how you want.
Yeah.
And for these 2 weeks, this is your 2 week notice. And then some things are going to be different.
It's a new sheriff coming.
Right. The transition is difficult though sometimes. So I
Yeah.
wonder what your thoughts are on this. Like, because sometimes we
So
do just need to, like, if it's dangerous, if we are doing in like a
yeah,
dangerous situation or
you got to
something
transition
that's
swiftly.
right.
Yeah. But I do agree. For most people, I would say we consider other people. You have to make sure it's not to your detriment, though. So, like professionally, what I would do is, like you said, hey, I know this has been the norm, but moving forward, there's going to be something different. Luckily for me, if I do that, I'm modeling that behavior for my clients. And so
Mm-hmm.
they take that as, oh, you're taking a week off, for example. Okay, cool. And then I explain to them, Now, I did write about this in the book because as I was coming into realizing that this wasn't the only thing I need for fulfillment, I had some internal work to do. I was afraid to have that conversation with my husband
Yes.
because you had known this wife for however long. And now you got this new wife who's like, yeah, not doing that, don't want to do that. And I need you to do this. I didn't know how that was going to go because just like we've been taught something, men have been taught something.
Yes.
I just posted the other day. There's a lady I saw, she's 35 ish. Her husband is 50 ish, right? And so she looked exhausted. She had two young kids. And she was saying, I know y'all think y'all want an older guy like this for financial stability, but he does not help with child rearing. He's in that generation where that ain't what they do. I bring you this check home, you figure that out. So I was afraid. My husband's not like that, but I still was afraid to have the conversation because this is the way things have been, and I'm changing. When I explained it and I said this is no longer serving me, his response was something to the effect of, "I can tell you're out of alignment. People know. Oh, you look
Okay,
exhausted.
husband.
I've been waiting on you to tell me this, or I'm, this, and this." But then it turned to I have to then give grace because, and this is probably gonna step on my toes. It might not step on nobody else's toes. Sometimes in the beginning, and maybe now, I'd be like, I don't want to do. Let's just use cooking for an example. I tell my family, hey, I can't cook 7 days a week. I'm not doing it. But then if someone cooks, I can then not criticize what and how they do it.
The mac and cheese with hot dogs.
Yes, I can't be like, now what is girl? Now what is the? And I remember my husband, he washes dishes different than me because at my house, my daddy didn't play letting that water run because we're not doing that. But that's how they do it. And he said, do you want to do it? Oh, absolutely not. Let the water run all you want to. I'm not doing it. So we have to, when we ask for the help, when we begin to change, yes, honor the people because I just think that makes you a good person, but fully step back and let them then step into it. You can't say, or you shouldn't say, hey, I need you to spend more time with the kids because I need this hour, but then you criticizing what they're doing.
You talking to me?
I really don't even care if they go bungee jumping. Sign and waiver, secure my kids. Tell me about it when you get back. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, I asked for it. I can't control it because that's a different conversation. That's a different feeling. And that hasn't really released anything from me.
Yes. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, and applying it to myself with being strong and independent, is I I can't keep control. Like, for me,
Yeah.
the aspect of control, I think, is part ego, part what I feel like makes me strong.
Yeah.
And I have to release both of those. I gotta
Yes.
release my ego that I can do all the things
Yes.
and pat myself on the back and go around telling everybody how I did 25 million things today and I'm still
Yeah.
standing. Look at
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I gotta release caring about how the thing that I'm giving up is happening. Like,
Yeah.
how the child rearing for this next hour is going, how the
Exactly.
project that I delegated to somebody else
Yes.
because I could not do it,
Yes.
what colors they used on that project,
Yep.
and not micromanaging. I have a VA, gave her a task. She did great on the task. She didn't use the colors that I would have used, but
Hmm.
the colors are perfectly fine. The
Yep.
colors differentiate themselves from each other. That's what they need to do.
That's
We can
it.
see them. They got the visual. They're visually accessible. Great. That is literally the only thing that I've asked of her. Make sure that everything that you produce is visually accessible, that people with low vision can see it, that people
Yeah,
that have contrast issues can see it. She did that.
she did it.
I have to let go
Yeah.
of the need to control everything, because
Yes.
then it's not, I'm actually not being any different. I'm not,
No.
if I'm, so okay, fine. I'm not spending my energy making the thing, but now I'm spending my energy micromanaging how the thing is made.
Exactly. And let me tell you a secret. Once you step back and let people operate in their genius, they flourish.
Mm,
They flourish because now in that situation, she's like, okay, she trusts me to do this. She's not micromanaging me. She's not criticizing. Now I can take initiative on some things. Now I can fully develop into the VA I can be. Now that she trusts me to cook dinner, she's not over my back. I can flourish as a husband in this way. I can flourish because I believe, this is just my belief, not scientific. Men have an insecurity when it comes to that kind of stuff because they don't know how we're going to react.
mm.
And I get it. I understand. Some days I couldn't be married to me. I get it.
And I will talk about somebody for not doing something
Yeah.
right.
And so when they said that, it's like, okay, okay, so I can do this a little bit more. Or I can take a little bit more. So then you get true freedom, which is you get to focus on you. Because the reality is, if you didn't think that they were competent, you wouldn't hire them. If you didn't
Mm-hmm.
think they were competent, you wouldn't marry them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to release that. We have to release that and let them flourish because we are not puppeteers.
Yes. Okay. So y'all hear this, because I think this is critical to us pouring into ourselves. Is release. For me,
Yes.
it's release. It's
Yes.
shedding. It's giving up control. It is not giving a damn,
Yes.
so that that energy I can spend on myself, because that's what I
Yes.
need to be doing. It doesn't
Yes.
matter if I'm spending on myself by taking myself out to eat, by sitting on my very comfortable bed and just feeling how soft it is, or
Yes.
by going on a walk. It doesn't matter.
It
What
doesn't matter.
matters is the doing the thing for me, for me, by me, with me, like the
Yes.
FUBU of me.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Because if you're out to eat and they have to call you every 5 minutes, that's not. Mm-mm. And then what I have learned is that shifts the dynamic of my children too. Because
mm,
if I am addressing everything, hey, why'd you do this? To them, it's like, oh, I can call mom and tell on dad. Oh no, don't do that. Like,
mm-mm,
don't do that. And
mm-mm.
so because I had set that dynamic up, I had to then change it and say, hey, I'm actually not his mom. You do know that, right? Like, this is like, we're equal. Y'all are not. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
And so that then changes how they interact.
Yes. The people around us are just as capable as we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if they don't feel capable, they will then learn.
They gonna figure it out.
They're going to learn. If you take a nap after work, they're not going to starve. They're not going to starve. I tell my kids, you ain't never missed a meal. Never missed a meal. You're going to be all right. You're going to
So
be all right.
earlier you said something that I thought was interesting, and it was around the mental health, the toll on our mental health
Yeah.
when we are not in alignment. I liked the word that your husband used.
Yes.
Um, you said irritable, which is,
Ooh,
again, I felt like you were talking to me
yeah. That's how I
because,
found out I got anxiety because I was like, if these kids say mom one more time, but it was a different frustration I had. Or if I can't, if this radio don't turn off right now, like it was, oh,
yes, yes.
oh.
I'm
And I
like
told
that
my
with
doctor,
sound.
I said, it's the noise, it's the sound, it's
Yes,
the, and she was like, oh, you got anxiety. And I was like, who got anxiety? I'm a
yes.
therapist. I don't have anxiety. And so
Yes.
now when I see women, I say, hey, do you have any mental health issues? I'm like, no, no. And I say, do you get irritated easily? And they're like, oh my God, yeah. Come on over here and sit with me, ma'am. Come on.
Yes.
It's okay.
So my question is, like, in what ways can we start to notice when we are out of alignment with like our true selves? Because again, sometimes I just feel like it's all of a sudden. It's
Yeah.
like I wake
I
up
do think
and
for some things it is all of a sudden. It's like you're in the middle and you're like, oh yeah, this is not. For me, it is when it takes a lot of energy to do it.
Mm.
So back to the client thing. When I first started out, I was seeing anybody for any amount on any day, right? And then I would be like, mm-mm, I'm exhausted. Like I do not care. And I can't have that posture because I'm a therapist and I love what I do. But it was more me being mad at me. There was
Yep.
no boundaries. There was no, this is not in alignment. Seeing all these people that are dealing with things you don't even, that's not your specialty, that's not in alignment. Or even hanging out with certain crowds. Community is important, but the right community. I can't be with no community who go to the club, I gotta go to bed.
Mm.
So it doesn't feel good. It feels like an obligation.
Mm.
So now there are days I feel like, oh, I want to cook. Few and far between. Few and far between. But when I get them, I go. On other days, I be like, I ain't been in that kitchen about 3 days. I'm okay with that. But if I made myself do it every day, or if I made myself it just feels like it's a task
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and different from
Mm-hmm.
something you have to do. Like, I have to go to work, I have to do these kind of things. But like, it just takes a lot of energy. If you started to dread going to your um, advocacy group, then you probably need to explore some things.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
start to dread hanging out with a friend, you probably need to check that alignment. That ain't what you need right now.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I like to watch TV too, but if I turn it on and I'm immediately like, oh no, I'm overstimulated. In that moment, that's not what I need. So you
Mm-hmm.
really have to pay attention to how you feel.
Mm.
So I had a friend who said for her self care, getting her nails done and toes done is not self care. She had to know herself to know that because people will pitch self care like it's 7 day trips to Bali and
Mm-hmm.
pedicures and all these things. But if those things send me into a financial crisis, that's not self care. If those things stress me out, that's not self care, right? But you have to know yourself. And it goes back to what you said, the lady said, you have to define soft life. You got to define what alignment is for you. That means silencing the voices of past, present, and future. All the things you've heard, all the things you've seen other people do. What do you want to do? For me, I travel a lot for work and business. If I let, and even my mom, who has the best intentions, say to me, and she has said, she used to say, you travel a lot. I think you travel too much. Well, my husband didn't say that. But for her, that's unheard of.
Mm.
Now, mind you, my dad traveled 2 weeks all the time for work. That's normal. What I do is not normal to her. I could have said, okay, I'm no longer traveling. The thought of doing that, because when she mentioned, that's your mom, you were like, oh, maybe, da da da. The thought of not doing it, the thought of not pursuing my dreams, the thought of not building my business gave me instant resentment.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
knew then that was not alignment for me. Being a
Yeah.
stay at home mom was not alignment for me because I didn't feel what these other people said they felt. I felt like my husband get off at 3, 27 minutes away. I'm gonna be outside at 3:28. I'm gonna go to Walgreens or somewhere,
Anywhere.
anywhere. I need to talk to an adult.
Yes.
So you have to really pay attention to how you feel and not what anyone else has said, not what anyone else has done. If you could draw out the perfect mother life for you, what does that look like? Just like with your advocacy group, I'm gonna be a part, but I'm not gonna go out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's your boundary.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really know because you could easily say, well, they bringing their kids. I'm gonna bring my kids. No, that's not an alignment for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It. So I'm realizing that there are three tells for me that are coming to the top of my head. Some of them you mentioned. One, resentment,
Hmm.
and specifically around acts of service that I'm doing
Yes.
that I'm now mad that I'm doing them.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Undercharging people. You talked about seeing people whenever they wanted for however much. I get so resentful. I cannot work well with you if you are not paying me what I am worth. And that's,
Exactly.
I
That's
can't.
true.
I'm struggling right now because I want to give some folks a discount And I'm glad that I'm having this because it's going to stop me from sending the email that
Yes.
says, I'll give you a 25% discount. Because in 2 weeks, when they pay me and
Ooh.
it's 25% lighter, I'm going to be so
Yes.
resentful.
Yes.
So resentment is one of them. Irritability is another one. Like, that's just, I don't know. And I'm realizing as I'm saying these too that those are both two emotions of anger, like where
Mm-hmm.
the root is anger. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
The third is physical pain or discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And what made me think about this was when you were talking about the friend and pedicures and financial ruins and whatnot around that type of self care, it
Yeah.
reminded me of two things. One, my friend Cassie. What's up, girl, Cassie? She does not like people touching her feet. So she does not like pedicures and she does
Yep.
not like foot massages. And my sister circle group, we're always trying to go get pedicures and foot massages. And she's always like, I don't like that. But like for us, it's like, duh, that's self care and something
Yeah.
somebody would like.
Yeah.
Another example I have is this same sister circle group. We went to go get yoni steams and died. When I tell you my vagina burnt off, it was the
Oh.
most painful moment. And now I drive around seeing all these yoni steams, people talking about yoni steams, and it makes me cringe because of how
Yes.
horrible my
See?
experience was.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm not ever going to force myself to go do that again and call it
I know
self
that's
care,
right.
right? Like, but some things it's not that clear. It's
Yep.
not that clear because we're
Yeah.
not in that type of physical pain, maybe, or
Yes.
maybe the irritability hasn't caused us to ruin a relationship because we're snapping at people all the time. So maybe like
Yes.
the consequence to
Yes.
ourselves hasn't been enough for us to be like, this isn't me. But those
Exactly.
three things, resentment, irritability, and pain or discomfort,
Yeah.
tell me this ain't right.
That ain't right. And I think we feel obligated because going back to the like, and I'll use the clients paying less because that was a big one for me because I felt obligated as a black helper that I need to help other black people. And then I would be angry when they would tell me how they spent money doing this, this, and this. And the reality is, most of the people never asked me for a discount. I just went in offering it. And one day, my business coach was like, "You're doing a disservice trying to help them in the posture you have to have, and you worried about your lights being turned off. Like that's not helping anybody. That's not
Mm,
helping anybody. You refer them to a resource to people who do that. That's not what you do. And we feel like we got to help. We got to give back. We got to do this. We got to do that. And we don't have to.
mm,
We don't have to. We don't have to hold up this world anymore.
yeah.
We don't have to.
So here's what I think I want to end on is this question, what does it feel like when we are in alignment?
Oh,
When we are when we have shed what we needed to shed, when we're
yes.
no longer doing things out of obligation, and when it feels good or when it feels right or when it feels easier, just normal, when we're not even
Yes.
thinking about how today we have boundaries,
Yes.
like what does that feel like for you?
Amazing. It feels amazing. And I tell my clients that the bridge to get here is real ghetto. It's real sketchy. It's real like, let me turn around because, but when you get there, it is amazing. It is happiness. It is when you see the people around you still flourishing and you're okay. It's like, I didn't know this was possible.
Mm,
I didn't know this was a thing. It is the excitement for me that I'm showing my girls that motherhood could be how, if you decide to be a mother, it could be however you decide it to be. That I'm showing my son, if your wife wants to be a mother this way, that's fine, but that I get to live, and this is my favorite statement, and I believe it to be true. I get to live the life of and not or. I don't want to choose
mm,
between these things. I shouldn't have to choose
mm,
between my career, my goals, and my family. I shouldn't have to, and I don't want to. And the world doesn't ask men to do that.
mm,
And so we don't have to. And so
mm,
living in that space where I am now, where I just sit sometimes and I'm like, yeah, I'm not where I want to be, but as far as this goes, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
all it took was a decision, a realization, and a decision that I was going to do things my way. Because who said I couldn't? Nobody said I couldn't. And then once you change your focus, you start to see people who do it. You start to think about Claire Huxtable. She did it. It's
Mm-hmm.
doable. There are people, and so as you change, your circle changes, and then you're around other people who are doing it,
Yeah.
and it is a amazing feeling. I just came back from Baltimore, so I was there from Thursday to Sunday, and like to be there and be able to focus on me and my business, to know my kids are fine with my husband, to come back home, slide right back into the mother role. Cool, I'm here for 14 days. They think I'm going to Atlanta next week. If it don't snow, I got to figure out this snow thing. But I get to do it all. And that's the kind of all I want to do. Be a mother for my kids and not cause them harm and still serve me because my life is not over. My coach calls it a living legacy. I don't want to just have a legacy, a living legacy. I don't want y'all talking about me real nice when I'm gone. Talk about me real nice now. And I get to do that. And
Yeah.
I'm getting overwhelmed now just thinking about it.
Wow. Mm, I love it. Thank you so much, Katesha. Can you share with us where we can find you and where we can find that book?
Yes. So the book is on Amazon, Beyond Someone Something. You can find me on my website, www. The letter U R more than SBM. And that stands for how this movement started. It was me telling women, you are more than, so go be more. So you can find me on there. I'm on Facebook under my name, and then I'm on Instagram under Beyond Someone Something.
Mm, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Impostrix Podcast. I hope that you got what you needed. If you're ready for more, feel free to go through the other 3 seasons worth of amazing episodes that we've put together for you. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you related to this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, feel free to answer the question or send a text. You can do that through your Spotify app. If you're listening elsewhere, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Impostrix Podcast. And if you like to text, go ahead, go to the show notes, look for the link for the WhatsApp community, because we just got it started this season for season 4, and I love to chat, so hit me up. Also, thank you to Chris at Digital REM for editing this episode. Until next time, be validated.